Mara, it was where's Amara? I wanted her to call up. This Amara young lady. I wanted her to call up. Okay, okay. I see her. I see you, Amara. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get you, but my battery on my hold on. There you go. My battery on my mouse is tripping. Yo, hello.
Hello, this is Amara.
Hey, Amara. How are you?
Good. Okay, I just wanted to provide some clarity to the conversation. I know it was a little difficult to have that conversation over Twitter.
Yes.
But I know one of the things that we were talking about yesterday was kind of like us separating over kind of black men going to jail as a result of these laws, right?
Right, right.
I think what's really important to highlight is that the thing with New York cases is that we're saying, well, let's try to find some non-carceral solutions to street harassment, right? But before we can even do that, we have to at least acknowledge that street harassment is something, well, not even just street harassment, but the exploitation of women's bodies, black women's bodies, right, is a problem, right? So it's something that not only black women should be addressing, but black men too, right? So I think that's kind of what's missing in this conversation. And I guess I just kind of want to hear your thoughts. I haven't even heard you say whether or not you really think that street harassment is a problem to begin with, right? So just trying to hear you out from there.
Well, the thing is, I'm getting two different narratives. Because now one group of women, like the woman who called up, and several women who called up tonight, and even several women on Twitter, they're like, well, street harassment ain't really it's not that severe. According to their narrative, they're like, I go out, ain't nobody hurting me, ain't nobody doing nothing to me, guys say so, whatever. But so a lot of women are saying it ain't that big of a deal. Now you have a lot of women over here on this side, I won't even say a lot, but you have some who are vocal, who happen to be black feminists, who say, well, I get harassed every single day. It's the problem that we all have to address. So it's like, is it a problem or is it not a problem? So we're trying to get to exactly what the hell is going on. Where is it happening? Why are two different groups of women saying two diametrically opposed things? And why does this group just happen to be black feminists who say that it happens all the time? That's a strange coincidence right there.
Well, okay, so that can be attributed to a couple things, right? So one, it's like when black people try to say that they only get microaggressions from white people, right? And then there's other groups that say, oh no, I love white people, and for the most part, I don't get anything from them, right? So some of it is a level of consciousness, right? Some of it can be attributed to where you are, right? For people who are in larger cities with places with more heavier foot traffic, you're more likely to get street harassed if you're in the suburbs. It's less likely if you find your womanhood to be more central to your identity. It's probably going to be more of an issue that you're getting called out and, being catcalled, right? So, I think the other issue, I mean, if we really want to get into this whole thing, we try to have this conversation as well on Twitter about black feminists and white women not helping out black feminists, right?
Right. That's my biggest concern. That's my, my biggest thing is this. Okay, let's street harassment. Okay, hey or nay, yes or no. Okay, if it's a problem, it might be a problem. Okay, but should we ignore the fact that these white women who happen to be feminists are presenting this conversation to us and we're jumping on it? Should we ignore that fact?
Okay, so this is where we differ, right? So number one, let's just frame the conversation by saying that black feminism, everyone on Twitter has been trying to make it seem as if black feminism is this offshoot from white feminism and we're trying to get acceptance. And it's actually the polar opposite, right? It's that since white feminism did not accept us within their spaces, right? Since largely a lot of black nationalists and civil rights movements did not accept us within those spaces, we had to create our own spaces, our own movement, our own ideology, right? So that's where black feminism
what's your name again, man? Wait. What's your name again?
It's not about trying to get in with white women. Most of us, that is not our agenda, right? So, yes, the girl on Twitter has her street harassment campaign, right? But these are largely separate movements with similar agendas, right?
They're not, though.
Different spaces.
They're not separate. They're not separate.
They are.
They're not separate.
The
woman Holly Curl, she's been retweeting and all this stuff from Feminista Jones, and she's been the one promoting this hashtag.
Of course, absolutely. So because they are because we're talking about the same thing, sure, one may piggyback off of the other, right? Sure, one may endorse the other.
But if they're all of a sudden, don't you think, and you consider yourself a black feminist, correct?
Absolutely.
Why don't you think? Why do you think all of a sudden white feminists who never help black women with anything, especially with
That's
anything?
not entirely true. That's not entirely true because there are white feminists who identify as intersectional feminists, right? Which is the closest thing to black feminism. No, I mean there are.
Okay, prove it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, if you say that they're white feminists who help black women, they only help black women if there's a black male as the target. That's the only time white feminists.
That's not true at all. Not true.
What is your name? What's your name again? Wait, what's your name again?
Well, give me an example in which white feminists have helped black women in opposition to black men.
Hold on one second. Wait. I'll give you a couple. Hold on one second. Now, what's your name?
No. Well, then give me one. If you have a whole bunch, give me one.
I'm about to give you. I want to address your name. Your name is Amara?
Yes, it's Amara.
All right. Amara. Okay.
Amara.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. White feminists, the only time they back black women up is when they're trying to do something nefarious to the black community, or when they're trying to use black men as a target. They use this whole street harassment thing in the early 80s when black men were the target. That's the only time they.
No. That is something. But go ahead. Then I'll address that because that's something totally different. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you some more examples. I can give you more. Are you ready for more examples?
Sure. More examples.
Then I want. Okay. The only other time the white feminists backed black women up is when they backed up Michelle Wallace in her book Black Macho, when it was a whole book bashing black men. They happened to put that woman on the cover of a magazine.
No. Have you read Michelle Wallace?
I have read that book.
That's certainly not what it is. That's
That's exactly what it is. I read that book. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I mean, I don't want to deflect.
Okay.
That is a whole different conversation.
I just gave you two examples.
Really what she's talking about there, what she's talking about, what Michelle Wallace is talking about, she's asserting a sex-positive feminism. She's trying to deconstruct these ideas of black masculinity and that, black women are inherently these strong women who are able to get, be able to.
But Amara, you know that book has been largely considered anti-black male for years. You are aware of that, right?
Absolutely, but I still don't agree with the criticism. I know that that's a criticism.
But okay. Aside from your criticism, because again, we're going to filibuster whether you say it is anti-black male or not. The thing is, that book did not challenge white males at all. It did not challenge white males. It mentioned patriarchy, white patriarchy, and all that stuff, but it didn't really go in on white males like it did on black males. And the white feminists had no problem promoting that book.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Do you not think that there should be some type of criticism of black patriarchy?
Hold on, we'll get on that in a second, and that's a very good question, but let me get on that in 1 second, but let's not run away from the facts. Now, can you please show me any time in history where a group of white feminists backed any black woman, not even a group of black women, just one black woman against white males? Any time in history. Please name one time.
Well, I'll put it this way. So that's not my fight, because I'm not, actually, if you talk to most of the people on this hashtag, I'm not really not trying to band with white women. You see what I'm saying? They're not banding with white women in this struggle.
Amara, let's slow it down. Amara, baby, listen, because I'm not trying to put you on, I don't want to embarrass you or anything. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I want you to have clarity. I'm here to teach you now, okay? Because it's not, because you sound like a sweet girl. You're very attractive, by the way. Is this you on your page?
Yo, like, you really think that's okay? Like, that you think that's okay? You think that, okay, see, so we're having an intellectual conversation, right?
Right.
So then, one, you call me baby, then you talk about how cool, how nice my
now you're changing the subject, Amara.
What I'm talking about. And
now you're changing the subject.
That in itself is not sexist, right? That would be
Amara,
I would call you boy, right? As a black dude,
now you're changing the subject.
Or I said, oh, I love your photo, even though we're sitting here having a conversation.
Now you're changing the photo.
So
you're changing the subject. You're changing the subject on purpose now, Amara. You're changing the subject on purpose.
What you say? I'm not changing the subject. You change the subject the minute
Amara, now you're getting into fake out. Amara, you're getting into fake outrage because you're trying to deflect because you didn't have answers to what I'm
I
bringing
wasn't
you.
deflecting. No,
That's
I
deflecting.
told you I didn't have an answer.
I said that because it looks like
I didn't have an answer.
Because it looks like a fake.
I don't have an answer.
Ma'am, Amara, calm down. Stop. Okay, stop. Stop. Amara, stop. Amara, stop now. Okay, now you're being. Don't do that now. Stop. Because we're not going to do that.
What? I'm answering your question.
No, you're not answering my question. Amara, stop. Hey, whoa, stop. Amara, what's wrong with you? Amara.
Yes, go ahead.
Amara, dude, are you okay? Amara, calm down.
Go ahead, speak.
Okay, Amara, but chill. Calm down with all that. Can you have an adult conversation? I don't have childlike banter. That's not cool. Don't do that. I'm trying to have an adult conversation with you.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Hey, Amara, let's chill out with that now because you just really on something else right now. Let's get back to the subject.
You need to move on.
Let's get back to the subject.
You need to move on.
Can we get Amara? Can we get to the finish with what we're talking about instead of trying to filibuster into non sequiturs? All right.
Okay. So you have to start. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Amara.
Go ahead.
Can you contain yourself emotionally?
Move on. I need you to move on.
Can you control yourself emotionally, though?
Do you have a question?
I do have a question, but you don't seem to be able to stop going on and on like an adult. I mean, what's the deal? Can you calm down for a minute? Now, what I was going to say, why do you think these white feminists all of a sudden are backing black women with this stop street harassment movement when they haven't backed you up with nothing else? That's my question.
And again, I wouldn't say that white feminists haven't backed us up on anything else. I think that's just unilaterally not true. But
prove that they did, though.
Let's say that is the case. Let's say just for the sake of argument.
Prove that they did.
Right? Let's say just for the sake of argument.
No, I like proof, not for the sake of argument, for the sake of proof. Prove that they did, ma'am. If they did or they didn't.
There is no. I told you that there are self-identified intersectional feminists.
They either did or they didn't.
So
they did or they didn't, ma'am. This is not a rhetorical question. They did or they didn't. Just say you don't know.
I'm saying that there are white feminists who are interested in the struggles of black women. I know them. I know people. And
prove it.
That's not anecdotal evidence of just a couple people. There are.
Prove it.
About,
why? Where are they? Where are they? And how come you don't see them do anything for black women? Where are they?
But this is the thing. If you, but they
ma'am, point to it. Why can't you prove it then? Amira, I'm asking you to prove one. I'm asking you to prove it. There's something that you can prove. Not somebody you know that we can't prove. Wait. Gloria Steinem. Who? Wait, say what? Go ahead. Did you say Gloria Steinem? Go ahead. I want to hear this.
Gloria Steinem hasn't backed bell hooks up on stuff about white supremacist capitalist patriarchy. She hasn't used that term. I will personally, the minute I get off the phone, I will pull that up for you and send it to you on Twitter. She's absolutely backed bell hooks up on that. And if you want to separate on the whole white men thing,
no, she didn't. I'm talking about a specific person, ma'am. You're talking about an idea. She backed bell hooks up on an idea. I ain't talking about an idea. I'm talking about a specific target. Black men, white men. White feminists will back black women up against black males. White feminists will never.
No. White supremacist capitalist patriarchy is white males. That is exactly what it is. So that's exactly what it is.
They don't. White feminists don't back black women up against white males at all, ma'am. They don't.
That's not.
Prove it.
That's just not true.
Prove it.
You know what? Let's
prove
say
it. Prove me wrong, ma'am.
Let's move on. Let's say it is.
I don't want to. I want proof. You just said.
I'm not going to let you. Listen.
You're arguing like Jason.
I'm not going to let you tell you that you're right. I'm saying I'm not going to tell you that you're right. But let's say.
You're arguing like Jason. That's not true. Where's the proof? I ain't got it, but it ain't true. Prove it. Name one example, Amara. Just one example of any white feminist group backing up black women against white males. I ain't talking about an ideology. Why aren't white feminists backing black women up against Anthony? No, don't stop me. Wait. Amara, stop. Amara, stop. Why aren't white feminists backing black women up against Renisha McBride, the Anthony Camilla situation, the black women who've been beat up by white cops for the last 2 weeks. Why are white feminists silent on that, but all of a sudden they want to come out and support...
That's not true either. That's not true either. It's not. But
Amara,
I mean, that's not true either.
Amara.
It's not. It's not true. But as someone, let's put it this way. So maybe you can...
Amara.
Are you gonna let me speak? Or are you just
no,
gonna
until you prove. Until you prove.
Are you gonna let me speak?
Until you prove. Yeah, when you prove what you said is true. If you prove you said what I said, prove that white feminists have stood up for these women.
Well, let me ask you what the criteria is, right? When you say that, because I've given you a couple examples, right? And none of them have really fit.
No, you haven't.
I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question, right?
You're changing the subject. Ladies and gentlemen, this is black feminism right here in its glory. This is black feminism in its glory right here. You haven't made one point. When I asked you to prove something, you jump to another subject. You can't prove anything you say.
I didn't jump to another subject.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you again. Every time I ask you to prove something, you filibuster into something else. I want you to prove that a white feminist backed up black women against white males. Prove it, ma'am.
Again... if you call it filibustering, but I'm asking you about...
Thank you.
No, let me speak. I think that's just not, it's not cool.
This was a cut and dry question.
I'm giving you, hey,
don't you hey me. Don't you hey me, girl. This was a cut and dry question. Don't hey me. Don't do that now. Let's be respectful, Amara. Let's be respectful.
Wait.
Let's be respectful.
I'm sorry, you called me baby. Now that's not respectful.
Now is that street harassment? Is that
boy,
was that
little boy?
Okay, I'll be that.
Little boy.
So is that harassment? Is that street harassment saying baby?
It's not street harassment, but
is that street harassment? It's not.
It's the equivalent of a white man calling you little boy.
But you just called me boy like it was nothing. You called me boy 3 times.
It's the equivalent of a white man calling you little boy.
You called me boy 3 times.
See that? Huh?
You called me boy 3 times. I called you baby because you're acting like a kid. That's why. If you stop acting like a kid, I can talk to you like an adult. You're not acting like an adult. So I have to slow it down and talk to you like a kid because you keep whining and whimpering over everything I'm saying because you can't have an adult conversation. Be a woman about yours and talk like an adult, Amara.
Okay.
Now say what you got to say.
To revisit your question, okay? Again, let me see if I can get through this time, right? Because the last couple times you didn't allow me to finish. So I've given you a couple examples. Now, none of them have met your criteria because you said it would need to be not an ideology, right? It needs to be a documented history of white women, a white women's organization helping black women against white men.
That's called proof. Right. It's called proof. That's all I want is proof.
Okay. So let's even say, okay, here's one. So let's take, this is a while back, but let's take Elizabeth Cady Stanton, right? Not a self-identified feminist, right? Because that's kind of anachronistic. She can't identify as a feminist because there's not a feminist movement until like a little bit later, right? But after the abolitionist movement, you then see Elizabeth Cady Stanton and a couple others rallying with black women to get their rights. Right?
Like
after
who?
Black men have already gotten their rights.
What black women did they help? What black women did Elizabeth Stanton help? Who did they help?
What do you mean? Who did they help?
That's what I'm saying.
They were at least.
What black women did they help against white men? What black women did they stand with against white males?
Black women are part of the abolitionist movement. Black women who were trying to get their rights after black men gained their own. I can send you links.
Ma'am, no. Ma'am, you didn't articulate what you're trying to say. That what you're saying, are you talking about abolitionists or women's rights movement? What black women did they help with? No. I want to hear what you got to say.
No. Okay, so this is what but this is what you're largely missing, and a lot of people on Twitter are missing, is that these things are intersecting, right?
No, they're not.
Black women in the let me finish. You have these black women in the abolitionist movement, right? So after slavery, after black men have gotten their rights, black women still are without rights, right? Elizabeth Cady Stanton was an abolitionist. But then you have these black women still, I guess, kind of leftovers in the abolitionist movement, right, who are still trying to get their rights. She wasn't necessarily, I wouldn't say she helped. There was a she publicly stood with black women. Now, whether or not she
who did she stand with?
Them, I can attest to that.
Who did she stand with, ma'am?
What do you mean, who did she? That would be okay. So I don't have a particular organization. That's I'm asking you for criteria. This is why.
This is about the non-proof bringing this girl like woman. You can't bring proof for nothing you say, ma'am. You can't bring proof. You can't bring proof for anything you say.
Right. But here's the thing. I said at the beginning of this conversation, I prefaced this entire point with, I'm not arguing that white women can't help black women. You know why?
You tried to come up with an example and you couldn't come up with it.
We played the tape. I said several times that I'm not going, that it's against my politics to have to sit here and argue to you that white women have tried to band together with black women. Now, I think it's wrong to say that it just hasn't happened at all, because that's not true.
You haven't proved it, ma'am. I'm telling you, not at all.
I'm not invested with white women trying to help out black women. So it's a mute point.
But you are with this street harassment movement. You are with them because you said at the beginning of the conversation, we all help each other and stand together. But the only time y'all stand together is when they're standing against a black male, and the black man is the face of a movement. But again, you have not proven that white women who are feminists have backed up black women against white males, because they've never done it, ma'am. They've never done it. So you should look at it as being suspicious that they do.
And I keep saying that again, I'm not, or a lot of these women on Twitter are not invested in white women standing with us. Now, if they choose to be allies, right, which is not something
they're not going to ally themselves against you against white males, ma'am. They're not going to ally themselves against you against white males. They haven't done it in the past, and they're not going to do it now. The only time they will ally themselves against or with you against somebody is going to be against black males. That's a red flag right there that you choose to ignore, ma'am.
It's a moot point, because again, we're not relying on the support of white women. We're not relying on that. It's practically two separate movements with a similar agenda in which they've aligned themselves with black women, right? But the UK sis was supposed to be about black women. So really, I think it's a point of whether or not white women were really trying to help out black women. I don't think that it's really
you tried your best to make a point that they did, and even your argument fell apart in the middle of you making it, ma'am. And FYI, Amara, FYI, don't ever use Elizabeth Stanton's name and try to make a point. She was a white supremacist. Please do your research on that woman. She said very slick, nasty things about black people.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Don't use her as an example, ma'am.
I agree with you, but I'm saying, I agree with you, but that doesn't mean that her political efforts weren't conflicting with maybe what she felt internally. I don't think I'm not disagreeing with you.
You got this whole thing. Well, just because they're white supremacists and they have white supremacist motives, don't mean that we can't walk with them and help out with. No, I don't fall for that. We fall for that trick all the time. I'm not falling for that, and shame on you and other people like you who fall for that trick, buddying up and being allies with people who have ulterior motives.
What trick? I'm sorry. Say it again. Fall for what trick? What trick?
With people with white supremacist motives coming in, using us against each other. That's a trick. Just like with this street harassment thing.
Okay, I'll give you that.
The people
I'll give you that.
Now,
but let's. I mean, because I know you will probably have to let go in a little bit, because we wasted quite a bit of time. Because again, I told you that's kind of a moot point for me. I don't think you're correct to say that they haven't been involved at all against white men. But I think that's a moot point, because the the street harassment movement is not dependent on the support of white women. They have chosen to align themselves. They chose to make themselves allies. Holly, whatever her name is, has made herself an ally.
The only reason y'all talking about it is because the white feminists told you to talk about it. That's called being a slave. You're being a slave.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
I mean, I don't
That's
need
being
not
a
to go off
slave.
of like, not to go off of anecdotal like evidence, but like when you have people, myself included, my friends, can't go like down to like the corner store, right, without getting harassed on the street. Like I don't need a white woman to sit there and tell me that that's a problem.
Now, let me ask you this: the white feminist, the one in particular, Holly Curl, she wants to introduce a law to criminalize black people. Right. People, and I'm going to say black men because that's the face of street harassment right now. They're using black men, but they want to make it a crime for black men to verbally harass somebody. That's what they're trying to do now. Do you think that's cool for them to do?
Absolutely not. And actually, one of the things that you okay, sis, if you follow the thread, one of the things we've been talking about is, like I said at the top of the conversation, is non-carceral solutions, right? And one of those things, which I wish would have been more of the focus of this conversation, is shifting the culture, right? Shifting a culture where men, period, aren't entitled to women's bodies, right? Aren't entitled to black women's bodies, right? Aren't saying that, are you seeing what I'm saying? So there are ways, I wish we could just have more of a conversation about non-carceral solutions.
Now,
but we can't even do that because you can't even recognize street harassment as a problem. And you can't even,
I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem in some cases. It's a problem. Yes, it happens. Okay. Street harassment, of course it happens. There's thirsty dudes out here who harass women. Of course. There's thirsty dudes out here. My wife upstairs, she's been to clubs and she turned dudes down and they curse her out before. So yeah, thirsty ass, bum ass niggas are out there all over the place. I understand that. But my thing is, what's the solution?
So what are you really against then? I guess I don't understand what your issue is. Except
I'm against one thing.
Incarceration of black men, right? I got that. I'll give you that. I'm against
right? White supremacists.
But again,
I'm against the white supremacists butting in our business. That's what I'm against. That's all. Okay. That's what I'm against.
And this is, and we'll maybe try to end here, right? This is what I'll say. Two things. And this is why this entire conversation, I've been saying that I don't think that the support from white women is necessary for this, right? This is more of an internal conversation that we should be having. I do think that if black men could engage with this conversation, right, that would be ideal, okay? But then you have people like you and other black men on Twitter who won't even give support, won't even recognize it as a problem, right? So then that's where you kind of get in trouble in having those internal conversations.
But the thing, but Amara,
number two,
but Amara, let me say this though. Let me say this. You got to be very cut and dry with this whole thing. If there are dudes out here, and I said this, did you hear the conversation with me and Dr. Jason earlier?
No, I heard the very end of it.
Okay, if there are dudes out here. And people like me and other people, we tell them, hey, man, don't harass women. That ain't cool. And if they say, well, I don't give a fuck about what you have to say, Tariq. I don't care about no damn hashtag. When I see something I like and I say, hey, girl, you got a big ass and you got some nice titties, that's just what I want to do. There's nothing we can say or do to stop him from being dusty. Ultimately, what should happen to dudes like that? Ultimately, what's the ultimate solution?
Well, and see, and I think, and I am going to deflect, and you're not going to like that. But I think this is the conversation that we've been having on Twitter, which is looking at more macro solutions, right? So more systemic issues, right? That way, we don't have to address those individual problems like the men who just refuse, who are just inherently misogynistic and won't listen, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So, you're not going to get me to support incarceration of black men. I don't want to. You're not going to get me to support that.
But there has to be a solution.
No, I know that. But I'm saying
there has to be a solution.
Like you're trying to trap me into that, and I'm saying I'm
not trying to trap. No, you sit up and denying it and talking in circles because you don't want me to trap you. Because ultimately, that's the only solution, according to you guys. Because it's a crime, because if they make that a crime, that's what's going to happen. So should it be a crime then? If it shouldn't be a crime, why are we talking about it? If you have no solutions, why talk about something you have no solution for? And why get us to engage in something that you don't even have a solution for? That's the whole thing.
Okay, so it's a couple things, right? So some of the hashtag was also about sharing experiences, right? Sharing experiences, having a support system, right? Because some people just get, harassed, like,
talking in circles is not a solution.
And then some people, it's far far more serious than that, right? So having that kind of
talking in circles is not a solution. You're not bringing a solution. I just want to know a solution.
I'm saying no, okay. And what I'm saying is that that's not that. Well,
I just want a solution. What do we do about dusty niggas? What do we do about dusty niggas?
I'm telling you that for a lot of these things, there are no cut and dry solutions.
Well, why are we talking about it? Why are we talking about something that there's no solution for?
I just told you. I think that was the original question you had, right? Sharing experiences, providing a support system, and here's the other thing, right?
I want a solution.
Wait, let me finish. Street harassment has been so normalized, right, that at this point, we can't even have a conversation.
It's bad. Yes, it is.
It's not
What's the solution?
It's not worthy of a conversation.
It's bad. What's the solution? It's bad. It's bad. Anything that doesn't have a solution, it's absolutely draining. It's pointless to have if there's no solution.
That's just like, okay, well, there's Band-Aid solutions, right? Like incarceration. That's a Band-Aid solution. But then there's more systemic solutions. And what the systemic solution, right, which is far more lofty, something that you and your viewers probably aren't as keen to, which is having a change of a patriarchal society.
Because look,
right?
Because now you're talking slogans now. You're talking slogans. Right. You're talking slogans. Right now, you're just talking a bunch of slogans. The solution, because I see the white feminists, they come up with solutions. See, white feminists, this is the thing with them.
No.
Amara, come on. The white feminists, they don't sit around doing a whole lot of chatting. White feminists get stuff done. Black feminists don't really do anything. They don't really accomplish anything. They don't never build anything. They don't influence public policy. But white feminists, They get stuff done. They get stuff built. They get stuff passed. They get laws created. They get money and they get stuff funded. So when I see, this is why I'm looking at the white feminists behind it. The black feminists just bickering back and forth, I ain't even looking at that because to me that's a deflection. I'm looking at what these people over here are going to do. Because you yourself cannot come up with a solution, ma'am. You yourself have no solution whatsoever. But these women do. These women over here got a solution, and I'm looking at them. You're confused. They're not. I'm looking at what they're doing, and they're trying to get laws passed.
No. I'm certainly not confused. Let me just interject real quick, and then we may. I'll go ahead.
Black feminists y'all just kind of want to complain and get attention and all that. No. Y'all don't have no solutions. The white feminists got them, and I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the white feminists, and they're going to get solutions going. And what they want to do is criminalize black folks. They want to criminalize all of us.
Okay, so they provided policy implications. Well, they looked at some of the policy implications. They provided policy solutions, right? And those are Band-Aids, right? Great. Absolutely great, and we should be. I do think that we should be behind those things, right? But again, looking more at these systemic issues are solutions. They are solutions. When you can,
ma'am,
when
you're talking. You're talking in circles, Amara. You're talking in circles, sweetie. You're talking in circles. You're talking in circles. You're not really making sense right now. Yes, you are.
I'm not talking in circles. No. I'm not talking in circles.
Let me say this.
I'm saying that I'm not. I'm saying
I don't want to because I don't want you to just talk in circles. I don't want you to just talk in circles now because that's going to get boring. If they pass laws to make it illegal, not saying that you co-sign it or not, whether you like it or not, don't mean that they won't pass these laws. Let's say they pass these laws that makes it illegal for black men to verbally be aggressive towards women. Do you think that these laws should apply to the lesbians who are very aggressive to black women too? Because lesbian studs are more aggressive than men. Should those same laws apply to them too?
Absolutely. Okay, so a policy like that is generally, it's not going to be it's not going to be gender specific. It's going to be across the board.
It's not.
So, but no, it's going to be across the board. So again, but going back just a little bit, I'm not repeating myself. I think this is important to talk about. I think it's important that we're talking more instead. Yes, there are practical things that we can go and do within the next year, the next couple years, right? And then there are some things that take a lot more time, right?
You know what? Okay, Amara, this is my thing. This is Amara. This is my solution. Amara, this is my solution right here. Because the thing is, we don't have time for all. If people are trying to pass laws, I don't want to waste time coming up with all of these filibusterings and all that, because I want to get to a solution. And since,
it's not, okay, why do you keep using the term filibustering?
Because you haven't come up with a solution on your own. You haven't come up with a solution on your own.
Filibustering. It's not.
When you don't come up with a solution and you're still talking, that's filibustering, man. If you don't have a solution and you're still talking, that's filibustering.
It's not filibustering. It's not filibustering.
But I got a solution, and this is my thing. And I've been telling dudes, this is what I say to the men. To the men.
Okay.
There are two types of women out here. You got women out here on one side saying that this street harassment don't exist. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm never harassed. Several women have called my show tonight saying that they're not harassed, and you women are exaggerating. Now, you have all these women over here, such as yourself, Amara, who say that you get street harassed all the time. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, most of you women who get harassed just happen to be black feminists. Damn near every woman who gets harassed happens to be a black feminist.
So now you're repeating yourself, because we just addressed this at the beginning.
I'm giving you a solution. I'm giving you a solution.
We already addressed
I'm giving you a solution. I'm about to give you my solution. I'm about to give you my solution. So, since the problem is these black feminists, for some reason, assume that brothers saying certain things is harassment, black men should avoid all contact with a woman who could potentially be a black feminist when they're on the streets. And that's the solution for right now. If you look like you could potentially be a black feminist, and that's up to the man to decide. That's up to his decorum. If you look like you might potentially be a black feminist, I tell these dudes, ignore these women, walk across the street, don't interact with them at all whatsoever, and that will eliminate all that, because a lot of y'all can't even define what harassment is. So I say don't interact with none of you if you are a potential black feminist, and that'll solve that problem right there. Do you agree with that?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Like that's a legitimate solution.
Serious as three heart attacks. Why wouldn't I be serious?
Okay. So the issue, am I allowed to be critical of it, or am I supposed to just kind of like take that?
No, I'm upset. I'm trying to see why you didn't think I was being serious. Not only should you not harass any of these women out here, if you see somebody who looks like they might be a black feminist, don't talk to them at all, because I don't want you to misconstrue anything I say as harassment. For example, tonight, you said I said baby. I probably said it subconscious. I said baby, then you, oh, don't call me baby. Oh, you said I look good, then you flipped out. So if a guy's on the street saying anything to you, you can misinterpret that. Don't say nothing to you. I say don't say nothing
matters,
to you.
Right? So let's not act like language doesn't matter. That was highly problematic. That was highly problematic. But the other thing is...
Wait. I said, hey, you look kind of good. I said your picture looked good, and you flipped out when I said your picture looked good, right?
Because absolutely, but can you see why that's a problem? And if you don't...
This is why they should avoid you. This is why they should avoid you, because a guy's walking down the street, hey, that's a nice dress. We don't want you to flip out and say, oh, that's street harassment. Don't. No.
Ma'am. No. That's not street harassment, right? But when you anything that is making these women visibly uncomfortable, and we're rejecting the behavior. So,
ma'am.
We're saying.
Ma'am, me saying that you had an attractive picture, was that harassment? Why did you get upset with that?
It wasn't harassment. No, it wasn't harassment. But
so why did you get upset with it?
I told you why it's an issue.
You didn't say. You didn't actually say.
Huh? I'm sorry?
You didn't say. I said that's an attractive picture. Why was that? Why did you get upset with that?
I gave you a parallel, right? So the baby comment is equivalent to a white man calling you boy, right? It's belittling. It's you would not talk to
Therefore,
like that. Is what I'm
this
saying.
proves
if
my
you had
point.
Another black man on this phone call, right? That you respected, you would not call them baby or the equivalent.
Hell no, because I'm not moist. I wouldn't call a dude baby. Absolutely not. But I said your picture was attractive, and you got all flabbergasted and flustered.
And I got upset. And I got upset because we're sitting here engaging in an intellectual conversation, right? And instead, all you can talk about, well, not all you can talk about, but the comments that you make are about my picture being pretty. Like, you don't see that as, like, inherently a problem.
And Amara, this is the very reason why black men should not even interact with you on the streets. This is the very reason, because we don't know what's going to set you off. You just proved the very reason why they need to avoid you as a black feminist or potential black feminist at every chance, because we don't know what, if we say hi, who the hell you, we don't know. So we'll avoid you. That's my advice to all of these dudes. Not just don't harass you, just avoid you altogether. Let's just take it to another level so you don't have to worry about that. You be safe. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You don't have to have no hashtags, none of that stuff. We'll just avoid anybody who's considered a black feminist and problem solved. Because we don't know, as you proved, what will set you off. That's my solution.
And my only criticism, well, I mean, there's a lot of issues with that, but my main criticism to that, right, is sure. I mean, another kind of like Band-Aid solution, right?
Not Band-Aid. No, that'll solve anything. You won't have to have a hashtag. You don't have to go to no meeting. Nothing, because I ain't saying shit to you. And the brothers shouldn't say nothing to you, too. No meetings, no hashtags, no counseling, nothing. We just won't say nothing to you, so you won't get bent out of shape. We can't sit up and try to redefine and define and try to figure out what exactly is harassment. If I'm looking at you crazy, or if I'm leering at you, if I'm stalking you, we'll just get all that out the way, and I won't say nothing if you look like you're a potential black feminist. We'll just keep it pushing, and I just respect your space because you are equal, and I have no problem with you being equal. So we'll be two equal people passing each other on the street. That is my solution.
And I heard your solution. It was clear.
Yes.
So no need to repeat it. No need to repeat it. Now let me respond. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Again. So Band-Aid solution. It doesn't
Band-Aid
attack
solution.
what's
Okay.
really at the core. But wait, let me finish. It doesn't attack what's at the core of the issue, the crux of the issue, right? And again, like we talked about before, the crux of the issue is about male ego, entitlement to women's bodies. That's more of the crux of the issue.
But if we're not talking to you, we ain't thinking about your ego. If we're not talking to you, that shouldn't even be a problem no more. Right. We ain't talking to you no more. We just keep it pushing, so it shouldn't be about our ego or nothing.
So again, it's a fine solution, I guess, but it doesn't attack some of those larger issues. That's it. So I mean,
that makes no sense. That's not. How is that a Band-Aid solution if the ultimate solution is just avoid black feminists altogether? How is that a Band-Aid solution?
It's a Band-Aid. Again, it doesn't attack the crux of the issue, and I just told you what the crux of the issue is. So it's not a Band-Aid. So if it's not street harassment, you have other things that are also affected, right, by patriarchy, by sexist values. You see what I'm saying? So it is a Band-Aid solution. It is. But I mean, if you can get people to do that, be my guest, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm going to promote.
It's not a viable solution. It's not a viable solution.
It is. It is a viable. It is definitely a viable solution. They should avoid any female who look like she could be a potential black feminist. Just don't talk. If you're so bent out of shape and you get so hung up and we're doing all this stuff and we're violating your space, we just won't talk to you. I'm telling all my brothers out there, the thousands of people listening, if you see a woman who looks like a potential black feminist, man, don't disrespect this woman, dude. Don't. She's equal to you. And respect her space. Keep it pushing. Don't interact with her. She might get offended. Let her be. Bam. We're good. So we should have that mutual respect there. There should be nothing else. No other bantering back and forth. We just avoid potential black feminists and deal with the women over here who are not black feminists, who like dudes walking up to them. Problem solved.
All right. I mean, but okay. And you don't see an issue with men invading women's spaces, demanding their attention, demanding.
I do see an issue with that.
Interest.
I'm telling them. I'm telling them to stop.
The last thing you just said, though. The last thing you just said, though, was, and we'll just keep talking to the women who don't mind men coming up to them, right?
Like the women who call my show. Like the women who call my show. The women who call my show have no problem with that. They say they have no problem with a man talking to them, coming up to them. They don't see street harassment. So I'm saying talk to those women. Because they have no problem with dudes. They're not getting bent out of shape because dude said this, said that. They're not on the hashtag telling their war stories.
But if you see that as an actual problem, right, you would also think that their response to it is also problematic. Right?
Whose response to what, sweetie? Whose response to what?
The women. Well, the women that have been calling into your show, the women that say that they don't feel really affected by street harassment, they don't think it's a big deal, right? If you thought that men demanding women's interest and attention, right, it's problematic, women respond saying it doesn't matter, don't you think that would also be problematic?
Now, if women, you don't know their experiences. These women genuinely probably don't experience no street harassment. I believe them.
And that's absolutely possible, right? Particularly if they're not in larger cities.
Wherever. There are women out here in LA. There's women in women in New York.
It's not wherever, because it's not wherever, because there are absolutely, I'm sorry, say it again?
No, there's women all over the place who say, I'm not harassed. You can have women in two women in one city, and one woman says, I don't experience harassment, and another woman says she gets it every day. So who are we to believe?
Sure. No, you should believe the people who are saying they're being harassed.
Okay.
There's no reason. Right. No. I'm sure that the women saying they're not being harassed are also telling the truth. I'm not disputing that.
Okay.
But here's the thing: when you invalidate the experiences of people who are
nobody
being harassed,
did that. Nobody invalidated it.
It just must not be.
Ma'am, nobody invalidated anything. You probably do get harassed, ma'am. You probably do. I don't know if you do or not. Nobody invalidated your experience. Those are your experiences. No telling a dude might have jumped on you or said something crazy to you. It might have happened. So my thing is this. For some reason, the people with the worst experiences with black men, and as far as street harassment, for some coincidental reason just happen to be black feminists. I don't know what it is. So my answer is to avoid black feminists. Or potential black feminists. If she looks like she could be a black feminist, just avoid them. That's my solution, ma'am.
Or better solution, right? Just don't harass her, right? Like you can have.
If you avoid them, how are you going to harass them?
A black feminist. You can have a conversation with
if you avoid them, how are you going to harass somebody you're already avoiding? See, avoiding encompasses all of that. So not only should you not harass, I'm saying don't even talk to them because you don't even know if you look at them, that might be considered harassment. So I'm saying don't talk to them altogether. That encompasses not harassing them too, ma'am. So it's not either or. Not talking to you encompasses not harassing you as well.
And what I'm saying is, and the reason why I'm making the distinction is that your solution condemns black women. Condemns black women, right?
How?
No, it is. It is by saying, because you don't know how they're going to react. So you don't say anything to them because you don't know how they're going to react, right? Because that's what you said a couple times, right?
Yeah,
that's condemning black women. That's saying that what they're experiencing is either blown out of proportion, is they're just being highly sensitive, they're being emotional, right? All of which is very sexist.
That ain't no. That's what you're saying now. You're just saying anything that pops in your head right now. That's not invalidating you, avoiding you. That's not invalidating. So what? So how do you? So I validate you by talking to you? So that I validate you by talking to you?
No. That's not what I said. You know that's not what I said.
That's what you implied. You said by you just said if I don't talk to you, that's invalidating you. What that makes no sense.
No. Your argument, right? The structure of your argument is saying that. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying, right?
Amara, you're trying too hard, Amara.
No. So it's clear. Don't talk to black women.
Hold on 1 second. Ladies out here, my young ladies out here, this is black feminism in a nutshell right here. This is black feminism in a nutshell. It's all over the place. Black feminism isn't it's not monolithic. Ma'am, so I don't represent black ladies, I want y'all ladies out there, you young ladies. If you go to college or something and they say, hey, come to the black feminist meeting, this is what black feminism is right here. Just a ball of confusion and contradictions and filibustering. It's all over the place. But go ahead, Amara. Because, Amara, this is not a good look for you, young lady. You have not been a good representative for black feminism. All you've done is prove
I'm not representing black feminism. I'm not representing black feminism.
If you claim something, you
claim happen something. To be a black feminist.
But
I'm not representing black feminism.
Yes, you are. You represent something. If you claim something, you represent that ideology. Yes, you are representing that, Amara. You represent that.
I'm saying that black feminism is not a monolithic ideology, that there are plenty of people on that hashtag who are going to...
And y'all share the exact same views.
I'm representing my own views, right? Which happens to also represent a significant portion of black feminists. But let's not say that I'm, speaking for black feminists, because that's not what it is in this situation at all.
But Amara, again, I gave a solution, and you didn't filibuster. You don't even want to accept that solution.
I didn't filibuster, and I told you Again,
is something wrong with that solution, Amara? Is something wrong with that solution, Amara?
Because you don't know how they're going to react.
Is something wrong with that solution?
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you what's wrong with the solution. When you say don't talk to black feminists because you don't know how they're going to react.
On the streets,
right?
On the streets, yes, on the streets.
Right, on the street. The implication there, right, is that our responses are blown out of proportions. These women are just being highly sensitive.
That's you.
Are being emotional.
That is you. I didn't say none of that. I didn't say none of that. I didn't say none of that.
No, you didn't say any of it. You're right. You didn't say any of it. But that's the implication when you say...
I don't do implicate, ma'am. No, we don't do... No. I don't know.
How they're going to react.
This is, again, why we should avoid you. Because we don't know how you're going to imply anything. And the fact that you can take that and then flip it and then make that far reach and talk about it implies this further shows that we should avoid you, ma'am. This further shows that we should avoid you.
Those are the implications that follow.
I don't do implications, ma'am. You don't know what a person's implying. That's your interpretation of what they're implying, ma'am. I'll give you that. Right, that's your interpretation.
I'll give you that. Sure.
Which is why black men should avoid you.
So we don't have to talk about perception, right? That's not even necessary.
Black men, if you're listening to this, black men, if you're listening, the thousands of black men listening, again, this is the reason why. This is all the proof you need. If you see a woman who looks like she could potentially be a black feminist, even if she's very attractive, but if she has that look of potentially being a black feminist, it ain't worth it, brother. You don't want to say anything that's going to make the woman just take the words out of context.
What does black feminist
That's up to the person. That's up to the person to decide. That's up to the person.
No.
That's up to them.
If she looks like a black feminist,
exactly. Whatever they interpret that to be, whatever the individual whatever they interpret it to be, whatever they interpret it to be, that's up to them. Sometimes the woman may or may not, but some guys might want to play it safe. She's cute, but she might be a black feminist. I'm good. So it's up to the guy. There's no one specific look, but you can kind of look on Twitter and just get an idea how they look in your area. So I say if she looks like she could potentially be a black feminist, keep it pushing.
Right, because black feminists, even in a single area, we kind of just look, we have the certain characteristics that we all just kind of have that you can pinpoint out and look at, and you can just tell that she's a black feminist, right? Because that makes a whole lot of sense. Just like you can tell that a black dude is a black nationalist, right? Other than
you can. There's some dudes,
and you know it is. You know that's ludicrous.
That's not ludicrous because some girls, you might look at her, you might think, well, she's an herbal tea type of chick. She might be a poetry reading type of girl because she has like braids or kente cloth or whatever, but she may not be. But a lot of them have a certain look, just like dudes with braids and dashikis. He might be a hotep dude, but he might not be. But sometimes you got to use your own decorum. You got to use your own judgment. And I say if a female looks like she could potentially be a black feminist, I say just let her keep it pushing. Don't even try to talk to her because you don't know if she's going to get offended or not. That's going to keep everybody safe.
The issue that I have with that, and the last thing I'll say about it, is one, stop trying to make black feminists some monolithic group.
Right.
There aren't certain characteristics that you can point out. We don't all have afros. We don't all
absolutely not
do poetry and have braids.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. A lot of times you can't tell if someone is or is not a black feminist.
You're right. Even though I'm looking at your picture, you got a little. Even though I'm looking at your picture. Even though I'm looking at your picture, you got a little afro, you got like a little dashiki looking shirt on. But again, that's just a coincidence. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay. Moot point. Totally moot point.
Right.
But secondly, right? No, it is. It's certainly not a dashiki looking shirt. I got that from Forever 21. That's more.
Oh, okay. But it has an herbal tea look to it. Okay.
But regardless, I mean, because that's a very minor point. But going back to your solutions, right? I don't see how you say that if we just don't talk to them, right? Because you don't know how they're going to react.
Right.
You don't think that the implications of that, that's certainly not what you're saying explicitly, but the implications of that are, well, that in response, if I just say hi, she may just take that totally out of proportion, so that's really emotional, so I probably just shouldn't say anything, right? So and is that kind of where you're going with it? Is that not where you're going with it? That's exactly what you're saying, isn't it?
No, sweetie, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that at all.
That's what you said. You said a couple times in this conversation that if you just say hi to a woman, she may just flip out, right?
Right.
Correct?
Right, yeah, I did say that, yeah.
So, and you're saying since you don't know how they're going to react, just don't talk to them. Well,
right.
The implications of that, whether you're explicitly saying it or not, right, is that while there are certainly some women who experience harassment, there are also women who just are sensitive and blow it out of proportion and just want to call black men out, just call them out. That's not what you're saying, but that's what
Amara. My thing is, Amara, because the thing is, when a guy is out somewhere, we don't want to get into a civil rights fight. No, we just want to live life. If we're out and about, if I'm out and about and I see one woman on the side of the street and another woman on the side of the street, and one looks like she's a black feminist, I'm just going to go over here to the one who's not, because I just kind of want to keep it slow motion and just keep it real simple. I don't want to get into a civil rights struggle. I don't want to violate nobody's rights or nothing like that. If I see somebody I like, I might want to say hi to them. Hey, how you doing? I don't want it to get into a crime potentially. That's all I'm saying. Is anything wrong with me wanting to be like that?
No.
All right.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No, in response to you saying that you're not willing to try to catch a case. Get that. But what I'm saying is that you have to understand the implications that follow that argument, right? And to say that you're still going to go holler at the girl on the other side of the street, right? Still, depending on your interaction with her, can still be street harassment. So again, that's what we're talking about here. That's really what we're talking about. But you know what? We're kind of going in circles. I'm going to let you go. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the conversation.
All right.
Maybe we can finish it on Twitter.
Yes, indeed. All right. That's Amara. She's cute. Very cute girl. Even though she says that's offensive because I'm marginalizing her and I'm harassing her. But she is a cute girl, though. I would avoid her little ass like the plague if I saw her walking down the street. I would avoid her like the plague. Fellas, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Even though some of these girls are cute, if they look like they might be a potential black feminist, you're going to have to keep it pushing, fam. You're going to have to keep it pushing. You dig? The thing is, as you see, if you try to have a logical conversation, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. When you point out their own contradictions, they get to filibustering and getting all over the place and rambling. It's not that hard to shut their arguments down. Now, this was on the phone. On the phone, she can't troll too much. But just imagine talking to them on Twitter. You feel me, family? A lot of that conversation, man, it's almost like dealing with children. It's almost like dealing with a child. Because the logic is gone. And she seems like a sweet girl, even though she feels like that's marginalizing her. But you say cute is no excuse for stupid. Real cute girl. And that's sad. Because I can see the pain in her. I can see that she's hurting. And women like that, they're trying to project their pain, man. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to project their pain, even though you can offer simple solutions. I've offered simple solutions, cut and dry, make it plain. No. But the implications of that, they still want to go on and on and on. They still want to find something to grovel about, even though, look, hey, we'll just avoid you. No. But the implications of avoiding us means that, oh, good Lord. You see, there is no logic. There is no logic there, family. I gave the ultimate solution. We'll just avoid you. No, you can't do that because that's going to imply that we're in. Oh my God. So we can't leave you alone now? Now we can't leave you alone? No. First, you want us to leave you alone. That's bad. If we say something to you, that's bad. If we don't say something to you, that's still bad because of the implications. So it's damned if we do, damned if we don't. You see what I'm saying? That's black feminism for you, ladies and gentlemen. Right there in a nutshell. Most of them on Twitter were having that same illogical argument. All of them. See, he didn't have a solution. I kept asking over and over again. I asked Dr. Jason, what's his solution? Well, the thing is, if you talk about solutions, and then you got to think about the laws, and then he starts filibustering. Brother, what's the solution? Well, there is no solution in a case like that. So what we talking about? Well, we can bring awareness to it. I'm like, God damn, y'all about the filibustering. I'm cut and dry. I'm so cut and dry. I like solutions because the white folks bring solutions. They're not going to sit up here and just bicker back and forth. Yeah, Dr. Jason was like, wait until the law passes. I'm like, whoa. Wait until the law. No. See, the whites, they don't bicker back and forth. They have 1 or 2 meetings and shit gets done. They don't do all that old bullshitting ass back and forth. They have 2 or 3 meetings and the next thing you know, there's a law in place. Or there's a building or a grant or something built. That's who I'm looking at. I'm looking at them. What's up, who's calling? I've been on here for a long time. Y'all got me on here heavyweight tonight. I've been on here for what, 4 hours, man? Goddamn. What's up, who's calling?
Hey, what's up, Tariq? This is JD from North Carolina, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on with you, Jay?
Nothing much. I got a question for you. Man, I have about had a brain aneurysm listening to that Black Feminist. Holy shit. God damn.
Man, my God. Man. Woo!